Great good morning, everyone. It is 9:11 a.m. on my Picardo Jewelers watch. This beautiful Thursday, May 7th, year of our Lord 20 and 26. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, broadcasting today from the United States of America. I can prove it because we are dominating the world. It's also the place for the brave. Like veterans, we will salute today, having lost them this year, thanks to John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. Like Joseph Swaboski, West Wyoming and Sawyerville, Robert Ruchalk, Freeland, Thomas Burgess, Beaver Meadows, Kenneth Setzer, Moscow, Stephen Green, Scranton, and Francis Belmont, Plains. The United States of America, founded with the certain knowledge and understanding by our amazing, irreplaceable, and profoundly wise founding fathers who knew that government should not, could not, and by law cannot and never shall be our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation, not any of these things. Because government power always means less freedom, less liberty, and less choice for Americans. These amazing founding fathers also knew that government power, because of human nature and the fact that they will abuse it, not may, that they will abuse it, should only be a necessary evil designed to protect an organized society. The United States of America, the country where for the first time in human history, freedom was declared by law to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. Freedom couldn't be parceled out to groups. It couldn't be controlled by government or government officials because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press. Now, because they were armed with these freedoms, and only because of that fact, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, many of them rejects from around the world, they and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show, well, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so, we gavel to order this meeting, today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our total, immersive, immovable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here for the balance of this singular, extraordinary morning. And they all are, aren't they? A gentle warning, this is not a safe harbor for stupidity. Such silliness will be roundly and, dare I say, harshly attacked throughout the program. We will not suffer fools gladly. Their foolishness and ignorance, willful or otherwise, will be called out with intent, purpose, and vigor, designed and sadly necessary to help save our great republic from evil, senselessness, and weakness. Because those things can actually bring down this incredibly noble and successful experiment. Well, guys, a beautiful morning. Oh, gosh, isn't it? I mean, not as we might like it a little warmer. It's, 48 degrees on Montage Mountain right now. But beautiful nevertheless. And we're happy we're here. I'm happy to be with you. Hope you're happy to be with me. A couple of items. First of all, I want to mention our Bulldog. Are we on our live stream today? I can't tell. It says something about we're not connected to the internet here. But the live stream is brought to you by our good friends at Roach Supply. They are the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. They specialize in kitchens and bathrooms, the most expensive parts of your house, so they make it happen for the right price, and they make it beautiful. And they're celebrating 75 years in business. 95-year-old Ron Roach is still at the helm. 2 generations working side by side with him. 75 years in business means they're great at what they do. It means they are fair and honest to deal with. Visit Roach Supply, ROCHE.com today. And then, of course, this hour brought to you by Tina Morocco, Global Sales Advisor at Sotheby's International Realty, Naples, Florida. Look her up under Sotheby's or go right to the source, which is Tina Morocco, MURACCO, MURACCO.com, or any social media. I mean, she told me she's on everything, TikTok and Facebook and all of that, Instagram. I follow her on Instagram where I get look at all these properties, which is fun. And just a mention, Pete Danchek, all around great guy. He's been with PNC for 40 years, 26 as regional president of PNC. And he's stepping aside, and Anne-Marie Andraco, a senior vice president relationship manager, is going to take over for Pete. He's irreplaceable. He's only 65. He's eternally youthful. But he will be missed. And he was just, one of those people that the area could not do without. So thank God he'll still be around for his other charitable and other endeavors, because he's really invaluable to Northeast Pennsylvania, not just as a banker. Fred Duckman, my classical music guy, among other things, he says, in case Murph doesn't have anything on the list, which he wouldn't, today, May 7th, is the birth anniversary of classical composers Johann Brahms, 1833, and Peter Tchaikovsky, born in 1840. The world is a better place due to their music. Perhaps you can find music by each to honor their achievements. Have a great day, says Fred Duckman. Bulldog, are you hearing that now? So now we've got to get a piece by Tchaikovsky and a piece by Brahms. All right? Are you looking at, you working on that, Bulldog? Just give me a head nod, something. Just acknowledge. Pretend I'm talking to you. Yeah, he nodded his head. In any event, let's do that. We don't track through Murph classical music, so so Fred, that's your job. That is your job, and you've done it well once again today. My Bacardo Jewelers watch says 9:20, which means I've got to step aside momentarily because we want to hear from our great sponsors who make all of this possible. We want to give you a little moment of history, the Lusitania, and then a little music, the Rolling Stones. We'll be back. The Rolling Stones. Murph tells us this date. 1966, they released their hit Paint It Black in the United States. Bob Cordaro back. And, of course, the tragedy of the Lusitania, which is one of the, it didn't immediately precede it, but it was one of the things that the United States started to say, although we were supposedly dedicated under Woodrow Wilson to not entering that war. But, 1,198 people dead. There could have been, multi-use. They could have had anything on it. They could have been transporting anything, but there were 1,198 people on it. Or killed, rather. 2,000 on board. So it wasn't performing a spy or purely military mission. The Germans sunk it anyway. And I think that's the beginning of the end for Germany in World War II. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK. I'm wearing my Rochester, if you're looking at the Roach Supply live stream, I'm wearing my Rochester football shirt, fellow Yellow Jacket, Dr. Wayne Sebastianelli. We talked about him yesterday, passing away at 68 years old. Oh, gosh. He was so smart, great football player. But he was so smart, he got into medical school at a special program that University of Rochester had after 2 years. And then he ended up at Penn State. He was their team doctor and much more at Penn State under Paterno and others. And, he died, 68 years old. We can't even believe it. And one of those guys, you know them, they take care of themselves. It wasn't a physical wreck, not even close. Just stunning. Great family. So Wayne Sebastianelli. So I have my Rochester football T-shirt on in his honor. Hey, let's go to the blower. We got Bill from Pittston. Hi, Bill. How are you?
Doing pretty good. I just saw something spectacular on Fox News. A 30-year-old man, illegal alien, who's been arrested for carjacking in the past. His name's Jose Ramirez. At gunpoint, tried to remove a man and his family. The guy put up a struggle with him and then shot him dead right on TV. It's all the video's there, and
really?
They're not going to charge him with anything.
Wow. I wouldn't be committing crimes in Texas or Florida.
Yeah. And to take on this guy's family, another illegal guy, another guy been busted for doing this before. Yep. It's just like, thanks, Joe Biden.
It is really disgraceful because you have to, that is a factor. Now, the one thing you can say about any of this illegal immigrant crime is if it's a murder, if it's a rape, whatever it is, we know that it would not have happened but for Joe Biden and his policies and left-wing lunatics and their sanctuary policies. We know that these things would not have happened. And they just are shameless about it. Absolutely shameless.
Just looking at the video of this guy, he has such an arrogant swagger about himself as he's trying to remove this guy. It's like he's entitled. It's like unbelievable. You'll watch it, I'm sure. Yeah. It's just unbelievable that this guy just looks like, get out of the way. This is going to be mine.
And he was so stupid, he's dead now.
Yep. Yep.
But I look at the other side. The victims of the crime. I don't care who you are. And I don't care necessarily what your mental state. You're going to suffer from having killed someone. And so he has to suffer. The potential victim of the crime, preventing the crime, he's going to suffer the rest of his life because of it.
Yep.
Amazing. All right. Well, thanks for letting us know about that. Thank you, Bill. I take no joy from that. But at least it wasn't the American who got killed. It was the criminal. Somebody texted in November, we were promised a $2,000 tariff dividend. Now Trump is saying he doesn't remember saying that. I don't remember it, but okay. Or just stiffing the people like usual. could use that cash right now, that gas is higher than ever was under Biden. Well, that's not true, but okay. I know where you're coming from. I mean, Jesus. Could you be any less transparent or more transparent? No, you couldn't be. And you didn't complain about, I don't remember getting a text from this phone number when Joe Biden intentionally lifted your gas prices, not for any good reason, like preventing World War III, but just because they had a climate scam going and you fell for it and you just ate it. And by the way, prices for utilities and other things that resulted from Biden's idiotic policies have never gone down. But you didn't care then. Wow. It's just crazy. I'm telling you, I feel for you people. I feel for you. You are more, apparently, in your pea brain, you are more interested in protecting the Democrat insane policies and people scum like Joe Biden than you are in taking care of yourself and your family. Please check yourself. That's sick. 9:32 says my Bacardo's watch. That means we've got to take our break. Let's do it and come back with our Veterans Tribute for this hour on the Bob Cordaro Show. Our Veterans Tribute this hour, as with every hour, this day, as with every day. Brought to you by our man, John Basiliga. Today, because it's Thursday already, I can't believe it. He wants us to talk about Basiliga Hospitality Group. They are awesome. 3 of the best, most beautiful bar restaurants you will ever go to. I love them all, I promise you. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township, the Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant, and the Far Street Tavern, the reimagined neighborhood tradition in the Trips Park section of West Scranton. Fine dining, yeah, the best. A Terra 519. It's not just dinner, it's an experience. Downtown Scranton. The Stegmeyer Mansion. More of the same in an amazing old world setting. The Mary Stegmeyer Mansion. Francis Belmont. We lost Frank at age 86. He was from Plains. That was April 13th. Born in Pittston, proud graduate of West Pittston High School. He worked for PPL as a heavy equipment operator until his retirement. Frank served all of us in the United States Navy from 1957 to 1964. He was also a member of the great International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers and a former member of the Plains Lions Club, avid hunter and fisherman, sports fan. Preceded in death by his wife of 48 years, Elsie, as well as his stepchildren, Joseph Saya and Patricia Casaba. Survived and lovingly remembered by his stepchildren. He also leaves behind a brother, sister, nieces, nephews, and many, many friends. Francis Belmont. Stephen Green. He died April 10th. His family says his charm, humor, and generous spirit left a lasting impression on everyone he met. He passed at home on April 10th. Born in Scranton, graduated at Lackawanna Trail High School in 1981. And after graduation, Steve proudly served this country for 22 years in the United States Navy, 1983 to 2004. His military service reflected his deep sense of patriotism, duty, strength, and commitment, qualities he carried with him long after his military retirement. His military career, including plank owner on the USS George Washington. He was stationed in the Pentagon on September 11, 2001, an experience that reflected his dedication and presence during pivotal moments in our nation's history. After active duty, he continued to serve the country for the next 9 years at the National Guard Bureau in Washington, D.C. In 2013, Steve and his wife, Suzanne, moved back home to the Benton Township area, Lackawanna County, returning to his roots. He drew upon his love of the land, became a budding farmer. They had a farm stand in La Plume. And he continued to serve his country as a senior analyst. Steve's world was the love of his life, Suzanne, his wife. They met roller skating, married in 1983 at the Wedding Bell Chapel in San Diego. Wouldn't it? That's what a Navy guy would do. Married for over 40 years, they were nearly inseparable. To know Steve was to love him, and he will be lovingly remembered by his daughters, his grandchildren, 6 of them, many, many other family members. He's got a legacy as one of love, kindness, and connection. Stephen Green. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality Group. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by the great gang at Montage Mountain Resort. It's going to be a gorgeous day to go up there and have a hamburger, a Wagyu burger or something. Maybe a cigar out on the deck. Today, variable cloudiness with a brief shower this afternoon, high 60. Tonight, partly cloudy with a shower. It's going to get all the way down to 39 degrees. Tomorrow, Intervals of clouds and sun, high 59, low 46. Saturday, as Cutie would say, mostly cloudy. Occasional morning rain and drizzle, followed by a brief shower or two in the afternoon. High 60, low 48. Sunday, warmer with some sun, then turning cloudy. A couple of afternoon showers, high 71 on Mother's Day, low 45. Monday, a little morning rain, otherwise a thick cloud cover. Breezy and cooler, high 59, low 37. And that's your weather, brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain, who tell us it's 50 degrees at Montage right now. Lullaby by Brahms. Everybody recognizes that, don't they? Thank you to Fred Duckman, who gave us a heads up on some classical birthdays. Happy birthday, Brahms. Bob Cordaro back with you. And with that beautiful song, my gosh, is there anything better we could go to than the diva herself, Lorraine from Hazleton? I don't think so. Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, Bob.
Did the lullaby put you to sleep, or are you ready for action?
No, it brought a little bit of mist in my eyes because of the poem I'm about to read.
Oh, nice.
About Mother's Day in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
So, as soon as I heard it, I knew it was Brahms' lullaby.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you ready then?
Yes.
Okay. I know you're in heaven, my dear mother, and you are watching me from above. I'm sitting alone and crying for you. Mother, I miss your tender love. I am sure you want me to be happy, just like you probably are. It's only that I want you near me, not so distant and so far. I dream about you often, and the dreams seem so real. If some of them would come true, an embrace from you I'd surely steal. I was born on Mother's Day. We were a gift to one another. I became your baby daughter, and God blessed me with the sweetest mother. I know you're smiling down on me as I sit and write this poem. Please pray for me and stay by my side until I see you again when God calls me home. Happy Mother's Day in heaven. Love, your baby daughter, Lorraine.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, I'm betting that's not the only Mother's Day poem you have.
You know what? I believe that it is.
Really?
I think so. I wrote that back, well, she died in 95, but I think I wrote this in 1996. I wonder if I had one for her birthday. Well, my birthday is on this Thursday, and then hers would have been the 15th, so the 14th and the 15th, and I really was born on Mother's Day. Yeah, I think that's the only one.
What's your birthday? What day is your birthday, Lorraine?
Thursday, so we be prepared to sing.
Next Thursday. Bulldog and I will sing happy birthday to you. Bulldog, write that down, but you have to call us.
Oh, sure. Uh-huh.
We can't forget about our mothers, and that's a beautiful poem. And so many, thank God I have my mother with me still, mother and father.
Yeah,
But,
yep, you are.
And get to celebrate with her on Sunday, God willing. Many people, their mom's gone, you know. And the mom is a memory, an important memory, but just a memory.
Yeah, that's for sure. And, well, I was only 10 when I lost my father, so, I mean, so.
Would make you that much closer to mom, right?
Yeah, that's right. You hit the nail on the head, Bob.
Yeah.
Yep, that's for sure.
Well, I'm happy for that poem. That's very nice, Lorraine.
Thank you.
All right, and if you've got something appropriate so we can continue the Mother's Day theme tomorrow, look through your stack and see if you have anything that we'd like to use to celebrate moms. Okay?
Yeah, well, I purposely read it today in case I got a little distracted tomorrow, which I may. So I wanted to cover myself today.
All right.
And my mother and all the mothers.
We don't pay you enough to insist that you call tomorrow, but if you can, please do. Okay?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the check yet, or.
Well, I'm waiting for mine too, so we're in the same boat.
But I don't work. Well, I might as well say I work. I work out of home or out of. I work from home here.
Okay.
So and I'm waiting. Well, what's his name? Big Lou. I'm looking for Big Lou, but or Big Bob or somebody or Big John. John.
Well, but me and the Bulldog will have to make it down there. We'll get something done over the summer.
Yeah.
All right, darling. Thank you, Lorraine.
Okay. Bye now.
All right, honey. Maybe we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Blessed Mother's Day. Blessed Mother's Day to you. Let's take this break with that beautiful moment. Bob Cordaro, WILK, the eponymous show, rolls on. the mamas and the papas. Murph says they had the #1 hit this date, 1966, and it's an ode to Monday. Most people whine about Mondays. I'm always happy to get back with you guys on Mondays. It really, when I was in school, I always looked for a time when it didn't matter what season it was, meaning you're going back to school and exams and all that kind of thing. And then I determined, which, by the way, was pretty easy in prison, but I determined that days of the week weren't going to matter. That I was going to do my thing, whatever it was, I was going to enjoy every day of the week, and it's held me in good stead. By the way, Mark Mayer points out, and Lorraine, if you're listening, you may have to call in. You did not say fuzzy wuzzy for Mark Mayer, and he pointed it out, just so you know. We got a text. I'm telling you, there is something wrong with these Democrat defenders. Here's the text. If Donald Trump had Mexico build the wall during his first term, the 3,000 to 4,000 illegals that crossed during Trump's first term, maybe that murder would never have happened. Blame Trump, too. See, you're a liar. You intend to be stupid. Do you remember Trump trying to build the wall in his first term? Who stopped him? Your left-wing lunatics. So, I mean, beyond stupid. You'll make anything up. You'll grab at any fig leaf to defend insanity. So there's something wrong with you. There really is. Please acknowledge that to yourself, and then things will work out for you. Much better, I promise. Somebody texted Bob LTS, Seattle mayor refused to turn on the crime cameras. I know. What a feckless fool she is. The far left moron, the listener says, claims it's unfair to criminals doing the crimes. That's basically what she said. People don't feel safe in their community. What if they're not part of the community, stupid? It's insane. It really, I'm telling you, that's why there's no more euphemisms for these people. If you're stupid, if you decide to be stupid, you may be, but in most cases, because people basically are not stupid, at least when it comes to their self-interest. If you are acting willfully stupid, there's no reason to be nice to you. There really isn't. Somebody else texting, greetings and good morning, Bob. ALTS, which has always loved the show. How about the Looney Dems welcomed acceptance of the Nazi-tattooed Maine senatorial candidate, Graham Plattner? I know, it's unbelievable. He wears the tattoo over his heart, a Hitler tattoo. He excuses galore for his Nazi tattoo. But Trump is the real Nazi. These people have space between their ears and can't even recognize their hypocrisy. No, because remember, you've got zero self-awareness. You are a stranger to fact, truth, and reality. And there is no other way that you could exist. So now they're defending these people, a guy. You can't make these people up. He's trying to say Trump is part of the blame for a illegal crime, illegal alien crime. I mean, this is insane. It's insane. And they don't get it. That's why you need a sanctuary of sanity, because they'll just keep going. They'll go to the next subject, too, by the way, seamlessly, whether it's a Nazi candidate or the Southern Poverty Law Center funding racism. Wow. It's breathtaking, is it not? Well, while I catch my breath, My Picardo Jewelers Watch says it's 10:02. That means it's time for the news. Let's do that, and then we'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Great good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Thursday, May 7th, 2026. Bacardo Jewelers and this beautiful Bacardo Jewelers watch tell me it's 10:08 a.m. here in the great Northeast. This is the Bob Cordaro Show, and I am he. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group, the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year, but celebrate today, thanks to John, like Stephen Green, Benton, Francis Belmont, Plains Township, Thomas Burgess, McAdoo, Beaver Meadows, Kenneth Setzer, Moscow, Robert Ruchalk, Freeland, and Joseph Swaboski, Sawyersville, and West Wyoming. So with history, our amazing founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who listen and hearken here. And you have to. You gotta listen, because these people are insane. They truly are. It's just, oh, Lord. Somebody, Bugsar texted in, he said, remember who was selling the wall material? What idiots. I know. They were basically giving it away. Now, this is craziness on a level we've really never experienced before. And the people following them, it's even worse. It's unreal. All right. Well, quickly. All right. Now, Bulldog, she may need the theme song, but very quickly, because I've got a guest ready to come on. Lorraine, Mark Mayer did not hear Fuzzy Wuzzy.
Listen,
Say it quickly, because then we've got to go.
Well, I was starting to, blame, Mark wanted it, so I was starting to say it, but we hung up. So I called back with my complimentary close, Fuzzy Wuzzy.
Very good.
I was also waiting to hear, Mark, a nice comment about my poem, too. You were on my mind.
He loved your
Mark.
poem. He loved your poem.
Okay, well, that's your fault. You didn't tell me on the radio. I was listening.
All right, dear. Thank you.
Okay, Mark, you blame him. It's all his fault.
All right. Lorraine from Hazleton. All right, well, back on to something maybe, less serious? No. The Trump administration is saying that the ceasefire with Iran is holding. Now, Mike Brest, he's a defense reporter at the Washington Examiner. He's tracking all of this in real time. And since we actually engaged to talk to him today, developments are such that the embargo is temporarily suspended. I don't even know the state of play as of this moment. So we are joined by Mike Brest, the defense reporter at Washington Examiner. Michael, welcome back to the Bob Cordaro Show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Michael, give us the state of play. Trump, he says things, but that doesn't mean that's what's actually happening. He said something about suspending the Iranian embargo, or was it just the escorting of ships through the strait?
So at this point, the president has said the blockade remains in effect, but he has put on pause what he called Project Freedom, which, as you said, was this effort to help commercial vessels transit through the strait, many of which have been stuck for most of this conflict.
Has he given any rationale? I mean, I've been following. Has he given any rationale for why he would do that, since it really is pressing, at least as far as gas prices go?
So it seems like, according to his own words, he said that he made this call in part because he feels like the two sides are closer to an agreement than has been the case in the past. It's unclear exactly just how close the two sides are, and that gets down sort of a whole web of the different issues that they're negotiating on. But the fact of the matter is, early this week was a very potentially decisive moment because we saw, as a result of Project Freedom, the Iranians start firing missiles and drones both at commercial and U.S. naval vessels in the Strait, but also at the United Arab Emirates.
Now, one of the missiles fired into the United Arab Emirates, who are no longer a member of OPEC, by the way, maybe there's no coincidence there, did do damage to, I believe, a distribution pipeline.
That's correct. And so that sort of, between the attack on the UAE and the U.S. Navy vessels coming under fire, really raised the question of how does this fall in line with what you and I and everyday Americans view as a ceasefire, right? If the Iranians are firing on Gulf countries, if they're firing on U.S. vessels, and U.S. vessels are in turn blowing up Iranian small boats, how real is this ceasefire?
Well, I mean, you may be making the same assessment I am, is that they want an additional layer of defense regarding the War Powers Act, because the 60 days had run on the conflict.
That's right. And so for those in your audience that aren't aware, the War Powers Act or War Powers Resolution of 1973 gives the president 60 days to carry out military operations. And at that point, he either needs to, or he or she, whoever the president is, needs to either get Congress to authorize a conflict, declare a temporary 30-day reprieve as they try and wind down cessation of hostilities, or they stop them altogether. And so, as you said, this deadline, according to most who were counting, would have come up at the end of last week. However, we heard from administration officials, including Secretary Pete Hegseth, that in their perspective, the War Powers countdown or clock actually was paused not at 60 days as of last Friday, but long before, when the president declared a ceasefire on April 7th. And so there are people who have different opinions on whether or not that is an accurate representation of the law. And it's unclear exactly, now that we've seen the fighting from earlier this week die down again, it's unclear exactly if the War Powers issue will come up again as long as the fighting continues to simmer.
Now, the other position that the administration is taking is that as long as we are not on the offensive, epic fury, this is not applicable at all regarding the War Powers Act, and we can always defend ourselves wherever our ships and assets find themselves.
That's exactly right. And part of this ongoing conversation about the Wars Power Act is somewhat hypothetical, because every president since it was enacted in 73 under the Nixon administration have viewed the War Powers Act as unconstitutional and infringing upon the president's rights as the commander-in-chief. And so President Trump's opinion and the standpoint of the administration is not out of step, actually, with the precedent that other presidents set before them or before him. However, as you said, we still have between 40 and 50,000 U.S. service members in harm's way, where hostilities could flare up in any moment.
I think they're on solid ground. And I think what the Supreme Court would do, and I don't know if you've assessed this, what the Supreme Court would do if it got to them was say, yeah, the president could deploy troops however and wherever he wants, but the Congress can cut off funding for those efforts. That's the extent of their power.
It's somewhat of an unanswered question to this point, because the Supreme Court or the courts in general have never ruled on the War Powers Act's constitutionality on the basis of that. There was a lawsuit done in 1999 and into 2000 regarding then President Clinton's bombing campaign in Kosovo. However, the court dismissed that case because they said the lawmakers that brought it did not have standing. They were not ruling on the constitutionality of the War Powers Act in that case. And so it's unclear exactly how a court would rule on this and whether this will be the moment in which it would reach a court to make a decision, or if this is a conflict that will play out without that being adjudicated.
Mike Brest is our guest, defense reporter at the Washington Examiner. Michael, do you get the sense that you're getting the truth from examples from the press briefings, from those press conferences that Pete Hegseth is having with the Joint Chiefs and all that? Are you getting the real facts, or are you finding that, well, maybe they're not telling the whole truth, or maybe they're sugarcoating?
I think the administration is trying very hard to tout its successes in the war without acknowledging some of the setbacks that they've had or some of the sort of attacks that they've sustained. And so there's been reporting that several U.S. bases in the Middle East were hit and fairly hard. However, it's unclear exactly how hard or what the damage looked like. And these are all bases, not necessarily troops, because the military intentionally tried to move troops that were not necessary out of harm's way. And so they tried to shift resources and personnel preemptively ahead of the conflict to take troops out of the line of fire. However, the subject of U.S. bases being in the Middle East is a subject that Secretary Hegseth and General Payne have not talked about even once over the course of several press conferences. And so it does seem like, and I'm sure it's not exclusive to this administration, but they are highlighting the successes and not some of the costs that they have incurred.
Are you satisfied that the public, those are actually paying attention and not looking for grist for their political mill, are you satisfied that the public has access to pretty much the truth and state of play in this conflict?
I think it is somewhat difficult to assess and to read because the president often has his own motives behind what he's saying, and it might not always match what we believe to be the case. Mm-hmm. And so the president has said that the two sides are closer to a deal than they have been. But he also mentioned that they've been to this place before where they've seemingly made progress only for the deals to fall apart. And so it's not clear exactly how well these negotiations are actually going, given that we're sort of on this carousel where the president says they're going well, but there is no demonstrative or deliberate or even real action item that can be pointed to demonstrate that level of progress. And that's the problem with all of these negotiations that the administration has tried to take on, whether it's Russia-Ukraine or Israel-Hamas. It's very hard to sort of calibrate the sort of step-by-step progress that they're making and then the step-by-step hiccups that they encounter along the way.
Mike Brest, what I have been detecting, and since the Trump presidency, even in the first term, there's a cockeyed optimism that he expresses, which is part of his strategy, admittedly, in negotiating strategy and operating strategy, which seldom, well, it's always an exaggeration of what is actually happening.
That appears to be, I think, a fairly accurate read in which, as I mentioned, the president wants to make a deal, and he wants that deal to happen, it seems, pretty quickly. And so the question is, when he talks about the progress they're making to a deal, is it progress that is actually reflected in these conversations, especially considering the two sides, the U.S. and Iran, were starting to have talks before the war, and they were having talks around this time last year before the Israel-Iran 12-day war. And then after the talks last year, the 12-day war happened, and after the talks in December and January this year, another war happened. And so it's hard to tell exactly how much each side has actually changed in their positions that got them to this point. And if they haven't changed their positions, it's hard to see how a deal comes together.
I mean, but any deal they're going to break. at least of the existing regime. So I don't even understand the point of it, frankly. I would just be, let's finish this off, or at least continue the escorts and the blockade and let the chips fall as they may. We've got to get this done with. They're never going to tell the truth.
I think it's interesting because there are moments where that sentiment was a sentiment that's come out of the administration, like at the start of this conflict. And yet there are moments where the administration have said that they've said regime change has taken place in Iran. And from everyone I've spoken with, that is somewhat of a misrepresentation in which it's obviously accurate that the senior leaders in Iran were killed in the war. However, they were replaced by people of the same ideology who were just lower ranks. And so there is the same regime in place, and there are arguments to be made that the IRGC now has more power in Iran than they did before. But at the same time, these are people who have the same values and same standpoints for the most part as the leaders did on February 27th before this war began.
I mean, as sad as it sounds and as brutal as it sounds, I don't know if you get anywhere without killing them all. I just don't see. It's either a constant, the old Israeli strategy is just bomb them when you have to, keep a lid on it. But they're not going to go away under their current ideological configuration.
I think that is a fair read of it, in which it's hard to exactly understand how the same group that has carried out the actions that they have over the last 2 months or so can be trusted to make a deal. And I think that works both ways. If you're the Iranians and the U.S. has bombed you both in June of last year and for 6 weeks this year, how can you trust the United States to hold up their end of an agreement? And so there's so much mistrust between the U.S. and the Iranians that dates back decades. And so it's hard to see that after their first direct, sustained military engagement against one another, that there's a logical and obvious deal to come from it.
Frustrating situation. I know they're experiencing that in the Pentagon, and I appreciate you for bringing that insight to us. Mike Brest, defense reporter at the Washington Examiner, thank you, and please keep in touch. We'll continue to rely on you for insight.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
All right. Mike Brest, Washington Examiner. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Our Veterans Tribute this hour, brought to you by our man John Basiliga. Today we feature, as we head into the weekend again, the Basiliga Hospitality Group. The best in fine dining in the most glorious settings possible. Downtown Wilkes-Barre, South Franklin Street, the Mary Stegmeyer Mansion. Event space and fine dining like you've never experienced. It's like going to the mansions up in Newport and being able to have the finest in food and drink brought to you. And then you go to a modern take on the same amazing scale, and that's a Terra 519 downtown Scranton. And guess what? If you're on a budget, they have a great happy hour. $10 drinks, $6 craft beers. A Terra 519, an amazing dining experience. The Old Brook Inn, the Far Street Tavern, the Queen City Tavern. 3 bar restaurants that you will not top. And if you're looking for a little nightlife, Sergei's, the nightclub, right underneath the Terra on Linden Street in Scranton. Well, it'll be happening tonight with no cover charge. Thomas Burgess. He was 82 when we lost him April 17th. He was from Beaver Meadows. Born in McAdoo, member of the former St. Patrick Church, McAdoo. Graduate of McAdoo High School. He was inducted into the Anthracite Basketball League Hall of Fame. He earned a bachelor's degree in economics from Catholic University. Member of the great Pennsylvania National Guard, as well as a veteran of the United States Navy. Prior to retirement, Thomas was employed by Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and the Hershey Corporation. He loved golfing, trap shooting, and darts. Preceding him in death, in addition to his parents, sisters, and a brother. Surviving his wife of 52 years, the former Nancy Pizer. Nieces, nephews, great-nephews, grandnieces, and nephews. Tom was a loving husband and uncle. Thomas Burgess. Kenneth Setzer. He was 79 when he died March 29th. He was from Moscow. He was the widower of Sherry Setzer, who he lost in 2021. They'd been together for almost 49 years when she passed. Born in Moscow, graduate of Moscow High School. He served us in the U.S. Navy. During his work career, he was primarily a bowling mechanic. A member of Grace Lutheran Church in Goldsboro, Kenneth will be remembered for his strong faith as he looked forward to attending church and worshiping his Lord. Kenneth loved passing his knowledge, sharing experiences, and spending time with his grandsons. He loved the outdoors, gardening, golfing, fishing. Longtime member of the American Legion Golf League. Survived by his 2 sons, as well as his grandsons. Kenneth Setzer. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. AccuWeather forecast for today, and all this brought to you by Montage Mountain Resort, which is swinging into spring as I speak. Today, variable cloudiness with a brief shower this afternoon, high 60. Tonight, partly cloudy with a shower, low 39. Tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sun, 59 degrees, low 46. That's Friday. Saturday, mostly cloudy, occasional morning rain and drizzle, followed by a brief shower or 2 in the afternoon, high of 60. Low of 48. Sunday, Mother's Day, warmer with some sun, then turning cloudy. Couple of afternoon showers, but it'll be about 71 degrees with a low of 45. As we head into Monday on the Montage Mountain Weather Report, a little morning rain, otherwise a thick cloud cover, breezy and cooler. High 59, low 37. And that's Joe Weta, brought to you by friends at Montage Mountain Resort, who tell me it's 52 degrees on the mountain right now. Let's stay with the subject of information, because Tyler Cornell's in the studio to tell us all about a problem on 309.
Oh, yes. I got to say thank you to EJ, our afternoon traffic guy. He was the one who gave us the heads up for this. But we've got bumper-to-bumper traffic southbound on the Cross Valley due to the road work with a right lane closure, and that's between exit 3 Plains and the Wilkes-Barre exit. Right now, it's looking like the backlog is heading towards Union Street in Luzerne County, and the anticipated end time for this is at about 3:30. Is what I'm seeing.
Some kind of one lane construction.
That's what EJ was telling me. I had him confirm which one it was. He said it's the right lane that is closed, and everyone's trying to get over into that left lane. People are coming off from the bridge, it's all just kind of madness right now. So that's why it's backed up. It feels like it got a little bit better because he said it was back towards the Rock Cut when he was coming through in Trucksville, and now it at least looks like it's down to about Union Street, but it's still pretty bad. So that's going on right now. And then, anticipated end time is about 3:30, but hopefully it kind of wraps up a little earlier than that.
Any other problems of consequence? What's going on? And I'm just asking this purely for myself. That 81 North issue, is that taken care of yet?
No, that was not going on today. I thought it was because yesterday they did not. I assumed because it was raining all day, and I thought that they would get back to it today, and doesn't look like they did. So everybody, 81 North looks totally fine.
In Lackawanna County.
In Lackawanna County, yep. Everything looks good. It is the Cross Valley that looks like hell.
Can you tell us about the Cross Valley? Keep us apprised, all right?
Yes, will do.
Tyler.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. Tyler Cornell in the studio telling us about traffic. Lobo, he moved from number 16, or they moved from number 16 to number 10, Murph says. Now it's his hit, Me and You and a Dog Named Boo. This date, 1971. Bob Cordaro back, and of course, one of our favorites, Senator Kennedy, John Kennedy of Louisiana. HVAC dude, I don't know how we could do this, but if Lorraine's listening, HVAC dude said he was born on a Mother's Day, and he'd love a copy of her poem. So, Bulldog, see if you can work that out with Lorraine. Can you make an effort at that? Maybe we could post it or something. We'll figure it out. But you know what you might have to do, HVAC guy? Bulldog will make sure it's part of the podcast, which will be out on WILK News Radio by this middle of the afternoon, and you may have to check it out there. So let's see. So now we've got our good friend Joe Barna. And he's been under the weather, and a guy that really, really looks out for him and is a dear friend of his and a friend of ours by the name of Frank Ballin, okay? And Frank, I'm going through the newspapers one day, and I find out that he's got this amazing history that he's kept up with regarding Freeland's sesquicentennial anniversary this year. There's events scheduled now through September. The next one, we already passed on April 26th. But Frank got involved in all of this, and it's really quite fascinating. So let's talk to him. I said, Frank, you got to call in and talk about this. I said, not only a friend of ours, a friend of Joe Ballin, I said, this is amazing. Frank, how are you?
Hey, Bob, it's so wonderful to be on the air with you, and thank you for the little build-up there, sir.
And you're always trying to avoid attention, and I just said, we've got to talk about this. Tell me the nature of what you've put together.
It's a story 50 years in the making. When I was a sophomore at Freeland High in 1976, that, of course, was our bicentennial year for the country. And then just doing the math, it was Freeland's 100th anniversary. And I was part of a photography darkroom club. And then so our centennial committee in town at the time reached out to the high school and said, could you have some of the boys take pictures of the events that are going to happen throughout our year? Their centennial year in 76, they had events every month of the year. And so I was happy to volunteer for that, or I was volunteered, however it might have worked out, but I was happy to do it. And the plan was at the time I would take the slide. I would make them slides, the Ektachrome slides that we all may remember, us of a certain age anyway, the Ektachrome slides. And there would be. I went to every event. I went to every event through the year, every month, and then there would be the plan was there'd be like some sort of a wrap-up get-together, and we'd present this. I'd tape the narration. I would present that. Although 76 came to a close, and even though it was a rousing success for Freeland, that wrap-up event never happened. Yeah. So they were just stored away in a closet at my house. I live in the homestead still. And a year turned to 5 years, turned to 10 years, turned to decades, and now it's half a century. And then now the same thing is happening now. It's the 150th year of Freeland, sesquicentennial, as they say. And I kind of remembered I had these things. Yeah. And our committee now is doing the same thing, doing events throughout the year. And I gave a call to the current committee chairman, Mr. Bobby Meso, and I said, Bobby, you know what I have? And I explained to him, and he jumped all over it. He said, we're doing a historical we have a historical society in Freeland. It was just going to be like an open house where they have their things set up. And he said, we're doing this in April. Would you care to do this presentation? And I said I would absolutely love to do it. So I updated these slides up to a PowerPoint. I scanned all the pictures in, made a PowerPoint presentation, redid the narrative, because, and quite frankly, from when you talk in 1976 as a 16-year-old, I was saying some goofy stuff that I actually used as almost like humorous, little humorous things, because I would never say them today. And but anyway, I used them again. Used the narrative though to piece everything together, because I honestly didn't remember all the things that they did. And they varied from they started with an interfaith ecumenical service. They started in January. They had a country dance. They had a concert by the Pocono Boys Choir. They had the Hazelton Philharmonic Orchestra did a concert. They had maybe the highlights of the year were like the July 4th holiday. They had a general open class reunion that the people from anywhere, any class year, and we had it was a time there were 4 high schools in Freeland: Freeland High, MMI Prep, St. Anne's High School, and Foster Township High School.
Wow.
So anybody that went to those schools from any year was invited to come, and they probably had 1,000 people come to that. It was held at the Pocono Hershey Resort. At that time, it might have been called Picasso or something, but it was there in Whitehaven, and that followed. And that was just I remember that thinking like, I wish I was old enough to be part of this and not just taking pictures of it. But that thing was there. Then they had probably the biggest parade that Freeland had ever seen, and then they had a week-long open house, not open house, but a week-long celebration in our public park with the streets closed in the park with the vendors and stands. And then later in the year they had they drew the Pennsylvania Lottery came to town, and they did like their $1 million lottery right on the center street.
Well, Frank,
they did a fashion show.
We've got to go, but I find it fascinating. Sure. You have a history of the history. What a great way to highlight the 150th for Freeland, along with the 250th for America, because Freeland is America. That is great stuff, and I appreciate it. Tell our man, Joe Barna, we love him, and we miss him, and we can't wait to get him back on the air.
I will do that, Bob, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Frank Balin.
Sorry that I got a little long-winded.
That's okay. The Freeland historian. Bloomberg Money Minute, because it's 10:50 on my Picardo watch. One of their great songs. Playing it for Mr. Paul, who's recuperating, our executive producer. This date, 1973, Three Dog Night released their great hit, Shambhala. Bob Cordaro back with you. And St. Teresa, Mother Teresa for May 7th. She said, if we only say prayers, then naturally you may not be praying. To pray means to be completely united to Jesus in such a way as to allow him to pray in us, with us, for us, and through us. This cleaving to each other, Jesus and I, is prayer. We are all called to pray like this. Well, St. Teresa, easier for you to say than the rest of us to do, but certainly a goal worthy of pursuing. Thank you. Mother Teresa for today. Thank you, Mary Regina. Hey, we got a call from the Kling Klang man in Scranton. How are you, Kling Klang? Are you there, Kling Klang?
Hello.
Kling Klang, we're with you. You're on the Bob Cordaro
Klinger.
Show.
How you doing, Kling Klang?
How are you?
I haven't talked to you in months.
I know. How's everything?
Yeah, couldn't be better. Couldn't be better here. I wanted to talk to you about affordability, Klinger. If you know your history, which you do, it goes back to 2020 when COVID hit.
Yes.
And corporate America took advantage of the COVID crisis and bumped all their products up to a non-affordability at that particular time. And there is no reason in the world that it shouldn't have gone down after COVID, but it's corporate greed was making a lot of money and still are making a lot of money. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, when demand increases, prices do. It's what is. And certain things came into demand. You know what shocked me the most? I was just getting out of prison after 8.5 years, and I was shocked how much money people had. And they were just spending it wildly. That surprised me the most of anything, how much money people actually had.
I see.
And because they had money and were willing to spend it, yeah, I think companies took full advantage of it, which, by the way, is their job.
Well, sure, money makes the world go around, but who's paying for it but the average person, the working man person, you know what I mean?
Well, the COVID shutdown, the whole thing was beyond phony to me. And it caused a lot of problems, a lot of bottlenecks, all that. But the Biden administration, the Democrat administration of the economy was absolutely horrendous from stem to stern. And the intentional inflation of energy prices only added to the cacophony. It was just insane.
True, very true. And, you know, I was just talking to a gentleman. He's a doctor, and he's made quite a lot of money. You know how he did it? He pulled up the Nancy Pelosi investment.
And followed her stock trading.
And followed her,
Yeah.
and he invested in whatever her portfolio was showing on the most recent. How about that, huh?
And that was on a trailing basis. If you were in if you invested at the same time as her and her husband, you would have made even more.
Yeah.
It's remarkable. Yeah. It's insane, huh?
I think Klinger better go to Washington. That's what I think.
They barely want me here, so I think I'll stick around. Thank you, my man. I appreciate it. It's great to hear your voice.
All right. You have a good one, buddy.
All right, brother. See you soon. Hey, it's 11:02, which means we've got to go. We're way past time because my Cordaro Jewelers watch doesn't have an alarm on it, but it probably should. But it tells me it's 11:02 plus, 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 plus. Time for the news with Brian Hughes. We'll be back after that. You know it does, baby, and we're fighting it here. Great good morning, everyone. 11:10 a.m. and change on my Cordaro Jewelers watch. This beautiful Thursday, May 7, year of our Lord 20 and 26 here in the great Northeast. This is the Bob Cordaro Show, and I am he. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor, with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group, the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year but celebrate today, thanks to John, like Robert Ruchalk of Freeland, Joseph Swaboski, Sawyerville and West Wyoming, Kenneth Setzer, Moscow, Thomas Burgess, Beaver Meadows, and he was born in McAdoo, Stephen Green, Benton, Lackawanna County, and Francis Belmont, Plains. So with history, our great founding fathers, they are amazing. And the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America is our guide. Let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense after that brief news adjournment, promising you that our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all who hearken here. Well, yeah, there's always so much going on. There's always so much bullspit that we have to fight our way through. Blatant, insane hypocrisy. And, I mean, we're battling forces that include academia, and this is left wing's almost vice-like grip on academia, the media, foundations and NGOs and nonprofits who are sucking the life out of the taxpayers, public union leadership, and they're all working together with sadly, even those that don't intend to are undermining this country, its culture, and its future. This is a never-ending fight. Believe me, it is. And unfortunately, they've got their hooks in us, and they don't want to let go. That's why they accelerated so badly into lunacy under Biden. I mean, it was a ship without a captain. And if they ever get power again, executive branches of Congress, it's Katie bar the door, and America may never come back. Now, so when I think of something that irritates me beyond measure, I want to think of something great. And there's an organization called Equines for Freedom, nonprofit, based in Pennsylvania, specialized in trauma therapy to veterans and first responders. It reminds me, and I had my Camp Freedom shirt on yesterday. Just another sort of way to approach this critical problem. But their program, Equines for Freedom, it focuses on treating post-traumatic stress disorder through a specific combination of professional counseling and equine-assisted interaction. There's a number of methods that they use. They've got treatment teams. It's a cost-free service. The program operates independently of the VA and other government agencies. Really fascinating. And with us today is William Brennan from Equines for Freedom. William, thank you for coming on the program. Happy to hear more about what you guys do.
Hey, Bob, thanks for having me on this morning. Here at Equines for Freedom, we heal the heroes. Equines for Freedom, as you said, provides free, evidence-based equine-assisted psychotherapy to current, former military, and first responders. It's an option to traditional talk therapy in an office setting, where that can feel very clinical and very intimidating to those with trauma. the barn environment offers a very natural ground space for healing. And our goal is to reduce the symptoms of PTSD and help those participants to reintegrate into their families, most importantly, and into the communities.
Bill Brennan, do you find that because you're bringing it to a more comfortable and natural setting, that is a huge part of the success of this alternative?
Oh, absolutely. It's all based on, evidence-based EMDR, which is the process that we use. EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. That protocol is adapted to the arena with the horse, which is really a gold standard for trauma treatment. And, we put safety first. The sessions are led by a dual team, a licensed mental health professional, and a certified equine specialist. And, it helps to give back and gives them a place where they could be calm and serene. I mean, we have $1 million view from our front porch up here, and it's just awesome.
Where are
see,
you located, Bill?
Ground.
Where are you located?
We're at 2150 Port Royal Road in Clark Summit.
Neat. Have you ever worked with Camp Freedom?
Yes, we do a lot of work with Camp Freedom.
Because you got such your goals. And the concept of your cure, your help, your assistance is very similar to what they do, and it works. It works. It works. That's the important thing.
Absolutely, Matt and the crew up there are wonderful. We have a lot of great conversations, and we do collaborate on a lot of events.
So you guys you're dependent upon the community for support. Tell me how can people help with Equines for Freedom?
Well, first they could go to our website, which is equinesforfreedom.org. There's a donate button on there. There's also several choices. They could adopt a horse symbolically to help with the care of the horses. We currently have 7 horses on our property. They could attend. We have several fundraisers coming up in the next month. We have our 9th annual Sporting Clays tournament, which is May 15th. And that is up at Rock Mountain Sporting Clays in Springville. We have our open house on June 7th, Sunday, June 7th, where you could come out and have live discussions and observe our therapists and horses in action and learn more about the horse sense and the impact strategies from some local heroes that have gone through the program. Well, like myself, I went through it myself. And we're going to have some guided tours through the facility, and that's going to be 11 to 1 on the 7th. And then we have the Bill Johnson Memorial Golf Tournament, which is an annual event and one of our largest fundraisers, which is held June 12th at Shadowbrook. All that information can be found on our webpage.
William Brennan, do you like William or Bill?
Either is fine, Bob.
Okay. Well, Bill, he's the president of executive board of Equines for Freedom. I say equines, you say equines, which you're probably correct. But
tomato.
Yeah, we're get to the same place. You feel free to just, particularly since we got you on the air today, any of these events, in the lead up, you just call in and talk to me for 5 minutes. You don't have to schedule it, just call. This is important stuff that you do. This is great work that you do. It really is important.
Well, thank you. As a nonprofit, we rely entirely on donations, grants, and volunteers. And, so we really look at our program as a community-funded thank you to those who served.
Yeah.
We're big on privacy and dignity, so, the program offers a very confidential and respectful environment, and it's tailored specifically to the unique culture of the military and first responder communities.
John Perillo, who we have on every Monday for Monday Musings, he's got a ranch out there in Colorado, and he sent me this great quote from Winston Churchill, which I've seen before. It says, "There is something about the outside of a horse that is good for the inside of a man."
I agree wholeheartedly. One of our philosophies, people ask us all the time, why horses? Horses are a very non-judgmental mirror. Horses are prey animals, and they have a very highly developed sense of reading energy, and they mirror a person's internal emotional state without judgment. They provide immediate feedback that way. But the big thing is building trust. You can't force a horse to trust you.
Yeah.
The old adage, you can't bring a horse to water and make him drink. This process helps veterans rebuild their own ability to trust in themselves and others. You're grounding in the present and you're working with a 1,000-pound animal, and it requires total focus, which naturally pulls a person out of that past trauma or that future anxiety into that present moment.
Equines for Freedom is the cause. They are located in Clarks Summit. They use horses to try to help restore and bring people back from traumatic experiences and other issues. Now, when you do this, you've got professionals, you've got psychological professionals, licensed mental health professionals, and certified equine specialists to ensure the clinical progress and the physical safety of people who participate. I mean, it's really, I tell you, it's a great program.
It's an awesome program. We've helped over 200 veterans so far. We're in our 11th year. We have over 12,000 clinical hours with those individuals. And, the big thing is it's complete anonymity. A lot of people are afraid to go out and get help because of the stigma of what's my job going to do? My insurance is going to see this. We do this totally free. Mm-hmm. There's no paper trail. And like everyone in the military, you get a number. You're known by the number, not the name.
Yeah.
So nobody knows who you are. And we keep that anonymity very, very secure.
And it's people who understand or want to help first responders and military. So that's the start of it right there.
Absolutely. One of our therapists, Marsha, who's awesome, she's amazing. She does great work. Her husband is an Iraqi war veteran and had some trauma, and that's what got her involved in our program.
Yeah. Amazing stuff. William Brennan, president of the executive board, Equines for Freedom. You can find them at a website, Equines for Freedom, or if you prefer, Equines for Freedom. 991-8826 is the phone number. Mr. Brennan, thank you so much. And I'm telling you, and I mean it, you could call in anytime to just mention to this audience one of your programs or one of your fundraising events or whatever, and then in that process, remind them of your existence. I would appreciate it, and I know our listeners would.
I appreciate that, Bob. Thank you very much for your hospitality this morning.
All right, and we'll talk to you again very soon. You got some big stuff coming up in June.
Yes, sir.
All right, my man. Bill Brennan, Equines for Freedom. That's important stuff. That's big for our veterans and first responders. Man, and it echoes and assists with the kind of amazing things that are done at Camp Freedom. Nature, in this case, is horses, helping to restore people's focus. I always say this when people are having problems of various sorts. I always say, well, okay, if you had a prism in grade school or high school, and they showed you that prism, if you moved it just a little bit, the colors that came out changed. So it doesn't take a lot to get somebody back on track. And Equines for Freedom does it. Camp Freedom does it. And it's important. We'll take a break. We'll be back. The Bob Cordaro Show. 1945. What a banner day. This is an amazing banner day. Germany, unconditional surrender at Allied headquarters in France. And Japan was to follow suit. Not much longer after we dropped a couple atomic bombs on them. Oh, amazing. The senselessness of World War II. Let us hope. Iran is the next Nazi Germany. Let us hope and pray Trump finishes the job. Please finish the job. Biden banner disgrace. Day 143. The members of the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association have hung a banner, a hometown hero banner, wrongly, immorally, to honor Joe Biden, who never served in the military. That's what the hometown hero banners are for. You can embarrass yourself all you want with that ass, but do not debase or demean the service of our amazing veterans. Take the banner down. Day 143 of the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association's disgrace. Our Veterans Tribute this hour, as with every hour this day, as with every day, dutifully, proudly, patriotically, brought to you by our man, John Basiliga. Today, since we're ahead of the weekend already, we feature the Basiliga Hospitality Group right now, and it's growing. It consists of 3 amazing bar restaurants. You got to check them out, I'm telling you. Food, drink, fun, and atmosphere. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. The Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. The Far Street Tavern, and the great Trips Park section of West Scranton. They're all amazing. They're all great. Fine dining, the best you will get and see and experience anywhere. A Terra 519, downtown Scranton. Oh, you say it's not affordable. Well, if it's affordable for me, it can be affordable for you. And they've got an amazing happy hour at Terra. $10 mixed drinks, $6 craft cocktails. And you just bathe in that gorgeous atmosphere. Then you want an old world take on the same level of service and grace? The Mary Stegmeyer Mansion, South Franklin Street, Wilkes-Barre. It is awesome. It brings you back to another era. And Sergei's the nightclub, the hotspot. And it's open tonight without a cover charge. Robert Ruchalk. We lost him December 21st last year. He was 83. Born in Freeland, he was a proud veteran. He served as a pharmacy technician in the United States Air Force. After retiring from the military, he moved to California, attended college, and worked various jobs while pursuing his acting interests. Robert acted in commercials and as a background extra in movies, earning him a membership in the Screen Actors Guild, his proudest achievement. He was a 3-time National Gold Medal winner in the drama division of the Veterans Administration National Creative Arts Festival competition. That's a mouthful. He returned to Pennsylvania in the 80s and was a member of the Freeland Community Choir. He acted in local theater. His favorite role was the Angel Clarence in It's a Wonderful Life. Robert was a kind soul who leaves behind the family and friends whose lives were touched by his intelligence, talents, and kindness. Robert Ruchalk. Joseph Swaboski. He was 90 when we lost him April 15th, formerly of Sawyersville and West Wyoming. Preceding Joseph in death were his wife of 41 years, Patricia Milius Swaboski, his parents, his brother, 2 sisters-in-law, and 3 brothers-in-law. Surviving are a brother, sisters-in-law, nieces, nephews, and cousins. He was buried out of the St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Parish in Sawyersville. Burial at St. Mary's Cemetery in that great town. Committal and military honors. Joseph Swaboski. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and the Basiliga Hospitality Group. AccuWeather forecast. Today, variable cloudiness with a brief shower this afternoon. 60 degrees is the high. 55 right now at Montage Mountain Resort. Who brings you this weather report? Tonight, partly cloudy with a shower. It'll get down to 39. Tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sun on Friday. High 59, low 46. Saturday, mostly cloudy. Occasional morning rain and drizzle, followed by a brief shower or 2 in the afternoon. High 60, low 48. Sunday, warmer with some sun, then turning cloudy. A couple of afternoon showers, high 71, low 45 on Mother's Day. Monday, a little morning rain. Otherwise, a thick cloud cover, breezy and cooler. High 59, low 37. And that's your weather, brought to you by the amazing gang at Montage Mountain Resort, where they are swinging into spring. Murph tells us this date, 1977, the Eagles. They moved up to number 1 with their hit Hotel California. Somebody texted in, hey, Bob, love the show. LTS back at you. Your campaign should be called Ban the Banner. I like that. Stolen valor in Greenridge for that fool Joe Biden. What is wrong with that Greenridge Neighborhood Association? We should ban Greenridge for that matter. Another day 143 of the Biden banner disgrace. It's not like they don't understand who and are ignorant to it by now. They're just being defiant. And for U.S. vets, it's like these people are just saying and spitting on us. You're right. They are spitting in everybody's face, especially the veterans. Sickening. Absolutely sickening. By the way, when I think of the Greenridge Neighborhood Association, at least the majority of them at this moment, I think of something good, which is the Babylon Bee. Quickly. They just had sent it to my email. It says, homeless declare victory in Gavin Newsom's fight against homelessness. And then another, it says, Iran issues serious threat that they have a massive reserve of more serious threats. That's the Babylon Bee. It really is great. Hey, let's go to Joe from Kingston. Joe, how are you?
Not too bad. How are you today, Bob?
Great, thanks.
A nice day out. But anyway, I wanted to ask your opinion on this whole 8647 thing with Comey. Do you think that has a chance of actually going through?
I think it's silly. It's decentralized enough. I think it's like somebody trying to please Trump. But
Right.
I don't get it. I don't see anything that even approaches a crime there. And Comey is a piece of spit. He's a phony. Right. He's a moral. He's a disgusting human being. But that's irrelevant from the law.
Right. I saw a thing the other day on Facebook, and I had to almost giggle. I mean, we're talking First Amendment, but if you add those four numbers together, it comes up to 25, which, I mean, if he wants to, he could take that into court and say that that's what he was trying to get at. You know, I was trying to tell people that we need to get rid of him with the 25th Amendment.
He wants Trump out. Okay. Right. I mean, yeah, that is cute, the 25th Amendment. But right. It's freedom of speech. It doesn't mean to me. I had some time as a bouncer. 86 was when you kicked somebody out of the bar. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Right. And then my other question for you is about the that new note that they just found with Epstein.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. Someone, my man Frank Mack, sent it in to me.
I saw a picture of it and read it, and I was like, that could be. I mean, I've never spent any time in prison, but I mean, I would imagine that you go through every single emotion possible, and if you write things down and stick them in a book, it has no bearing on that's what that's what he meant to do. Or
I will say this, Joe. I believe he committed suicide. Number one, I spent a lot of time in prison, and 11 different ones, and I was in isolation or whatever it's called SHU in prisons, special housing unit. And number one, you couldn't get in there without everybody on the block knowing somebody came in. And that's separate and apart from who fell asleep and who did whatever. It just isn't possible. You also had a sexual fiend who was never going to be pleased in the way that he used to pleasure himself every single day with young girls multiple times. He was facing the end of his life, and he was dying to end it. My opinion. I'm sorry, Joe, did we lose you?
No, I'm here.
Oh, but yeah, he killed himself. There's not even a doubt in my mind. And I know there's a lot of disagreement on that, but that's what I saw.
Yeah, I think the same. I think he definitely did it himself. But I think Trump, if he's going to run on it, I don't know why things just keep getting pushed under the rug and thrown to the side. And I mean, everybody at this point wants to know what's going on, and it's still
with what
just being with Epstein.
Oh.
with the
I
files.
don't think he covered anything up. I mean, I think
Okay.
he's completely exonerated as far as
according to you. Okay.
according to the facts. Stop living
according
in
to the
fantasy world. I was waiting.
Who
to when
spent
your
more time with
lunacy was
Epstein
going
than
to break
anybody else,
out.
Bob?
I was
Who
waiting
spent more
to
time
see.
with Epstein than anybody else, Bob?
Oh, you're a liar.
More time
Why
with
do you have to
Epstein than
lie?
any other human
Why
being,
do you
Bob.
have to lie? Why? I don't get
Why
it.
am I lying? How many
You
times
just
was his
go
name?
into Looneyville.
Yeah,
You can't control
Looneyville.
yourself. Your TDS is off the charts.
It's
but
great. It's great, Bob.
We
It's
love
great
you
that
anyway,
that you
Joe.
lose your mind over Epstein.
We want you to get help, Joe. Really get help for your TDS. It's sad. I don't even know what to say about that. Like the records, the documents that have been released, all of them have been released. And the most damning fact against Joe's lies, and those of the idiots on the left like him, is that neither the Obama administration or the Biden administration released any of it. Not only is it hypocrisy, it proves there's nothing to get Trump on. And that Trump, the only records I saw related to Trump, other than their initial interactions, and they were buddies. He was one of the guys who drove the investigation, the criminal investigation of Epstein, and that Epstein hated him. Those are the facts. And you're just stupid, Joe. Why? Your TDS is that bad. That's scary stuff. Hey, let's go quickly to Mike from Bloomsburg. Michael, we just got a minute, but fire away, man.
Hey, real quick, can you hear me good?
Yes. Well, not great,
okay. Okay, we talked about how our government has continually lied to us about many things in the past. But my worry is the future, okay? And the future is with our young. We need to teach our children what this country stands for and how we got it. We did not get this country by, the backs of slavery like they want to tell kids today. We did not get this country because of the people in Mount Rushmore that need to be torn down because they were evil. Okay, so we need to basically reinvent the future. Because if we don't, we're not going to last very long.
Yep. If we do not have, and we don't do it, there is no civics in grade school and high school. There's weak, lily-livered history. And without that, they'll never understand what it's like to be an American. They'll never appreciate it. They'll never be able to defend it. And that's where we're headed. And by the way, that's where a lot of left-wing lunatics want us to head, including the heads of the teachers' unions.
Exactly. I was raised by the silent generation and the post-World War II men that served. My view on what's going on is a lot different than most people younger than me.
Yeah.
Because I understood what happened to the United States and what happened to the world.
Scary stuff. Mike, we got to save the country. Let's keep fighting. Thank you, man. You sound like you're in a submarine, but we love you anyway. Well, my Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me we're approaching 11:50, and when it's on the dot, you'll know it. Peter Tchaikovsky's birthday, Fred Duckman pointed out, so we're going to finish with his great 1812 Overture. And why not? Babylon B again. It says, Democrats clarify everyone is a Nazi except the guy with the Nazi tattoo. This is just insane, people. They're just insane. Did you hear Joe from Kingston? He can only keep it together for about 30 seconds and then he goes insane. My God. God bless you. We love you, Joe. We really do. We love your soul and we pray for your return to health. Maybe you got to wait till Trump's out of office. I don't know, but man, it's not working for you right now, my man. Hey, live stream brought to you by our friends at Roach Supply. Roach Supply, the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania, and they're celebrating 75 years in business. That means they're great. Salute to Ron Roach, veteran, my old neighbor. RoachSupply.com, R-O-C-H-E. And another shout out to our great hourly sponsor, Tina Morocco. Global Sales Advisor at Sotheby's International, Naples, Florida. You can find her through Sotheby's in Naples or go to Tina Morocco, M-U-R-A-C-C-O, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, or Tina Morocco, M-U-R-A-C-C-O.com. She's your trusted guide to Florida real estate specializing in Southwest Florida. Guys, did you ever know, you guys out there, if you're getting friend requests on Facebook or Instagram from gorgeous girls, they don't know you. And they don't want to get to know you, just so you know. All right? It's a scam. Somebody said, you show Joe from Kingston's not Dave from Kingston. No, very different. Very different. Hey, let's finish with Tchaikovsky, and I'll finish with the program. For now, we've got a gavel to close this meeting, the Club for Common Sense, the Sue Henry Show next. The Rob O'Donnell Show after that. He's got a little bit of an open on some, maybe some hanky-panky going on with Lackawanna County and state grants. He'll tell you all about it. But for now, we gavel to a close this meeting, today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense. God willing, I'll be with you tomorrow. Have a great afternoon.